I'm not bad for football. It's part of life. Simple as that.
Football focus.
For the first time in the history of the Champions League, it will be an all-Bundesliga final as Bayern Munich take on Borussia Dortmund. We have a whole show dedicated to the biggest game in club football, and here is what's coming up for you. We've been speaking to the brilliant Brazilian who's been the bedrock of Bayern's back four. Dante explains why they are so tough to beat.
Sim, podemos dizer que sim, porque
the German philosophy and culture is based on concentrated work, firm, serious. This is what I've learned here, and it's helped me grow my career.
We'll also hear from Hasan Salihamidzic, who won 6 league titles and 1 Champions League crown with Bayern.
They have a big experience in the final now, and I think psychologically it's a good thing.
And of course the show wouldn't be complete without a little bit of Jurgen Klopp. He's talking karaoke, fairy tales and keeping his parents happy.
We want to make our parents proud. We want to do everything what we can do and to be a winner in this final.
So plenty to watch out for over the next 23 minutes or so. Pat Nevin has joined us here outside Wembley. Pat used to play plenty of football just down the road at Chelsea. You did play here but at the old Wembley pre-Arch, but for a showpiece game like this, there are few stadiums better, aren't there?
It's an amazing place, but not just the fact it's a brilliant stadium, because it is an absolutely fantastic stadium. It's got a great atmosphere now, probably better now than it ever has been. But it's the history, isn't it? It is Wembley. It means something special for everybody in the world, and it's great to have the final here, and I think it will be a spectacular final.
And 2 great attacking teams as well. Everyone talks about Bayern Munich going forward, but do you know how many goals they've conceded in the Bundesliga this season?
I could guess 18.
18? Hold on a minute, he's been looking at my script. And guess what? Slightly surprisingly, the man who's been credited with much of their defensive solidity is a Brazilian.
Maligo, faced by Van Boyten, up to the edge of the penalty, into the penalty, great run, great goal, finish for Bayern Munich, into Milan, will be champions of Europe. Drogba to win it, and he's won it, Chelsea are champions of Europe.
You signed for Bayern just after last year's Champions League final defeat for Chelsea. What was it like before the season started, with all the players and the disappointment they must have had?
claro que depois de perder uma final.
After losing the final to Chelsea, especially how we lost it was difficult psychologically. But we have experienced players, so they used it as a source of motivation for this year's campaign. And now we have a chance for redemption.
Desse ano consegui.
To get to the final, you had to beat Barcelona. And to do it so impressively made everyone stand up and take notice.
Eu acho que, claro, surpreendeu várias pessoas.
That surprised many, of course. Both matches 7-0, but we prepared ourselves very well. The secret was the will of the group, and we succeeded. Now, I hope we can win the final.
What is so special about German football at the moment? The whole world is asking that question.
I think these two clubs have players playing together for a long time. Germans are playing modern, compact, organised and fast football. This is the secret. Bayern have reached 3 Champions League finals in 4 years, and Borussia are also growing. This shows that the country is evolving in football.
It's interesting that the biggest German club is now relying on a Brazilian like yourself to make them more efficient, more solid in defence.
Sim, podemos dizer que sim, porque
the German philosophy and culture is based on concentrated work, firm, serious. Brazilians have the special philosophy and culture of always being happy and relaxed. Here they help us to be relaxed and focused. This is what I've learned here, and it's helped me grow my career.
For Brazilians, 2014 is going to be a big year. Playing in Champions League finals, it puts you in a good place to be selected for the World Cup. Is that a dream of yours?
Claro, grande
Of
sonho.
course it's a dream. I've just been called up to play in the Confederations Cup in June. If our team is winning trophies and reaching finals, that gives us more hope to play in the national team in 2014. The important thing is to work hard and to have those opportunities.
Your manager said you are a player every manager dreams of having. That's a wonderful compliment.
Sim, eu fico muito...
I'm very flattered to hear a manager with such a history say that. I have a great relationship with him. In January, when it was announced he would leave, we, the players, decided to give it our best efforts to win everything and present him with a prize on his farewell. I hope we can do it.
com os 3 troféus.
What a first season Dante has had. The weather is closing in, so we better hurry this up, Pat. But if you look at them defensively, I mean, their stats are incredible. Only conceded 7 away from home. And probably never be matched in terms of defensive record this season.
Yeah, and it's not as if they're playing in a poor league either. You know, the Bundesliga is a good league, and obviously they did what they did to Barcelona as well. So they are a fantastic side, and it's not just at the back or the midfield at the front, it's the entirety of it. Neuer is a fantastic goalkeeper. They've got Van Buiten now. He's coming to the twilight of his career as well, but he's playing a fantastic centre back.
Everyone loves Philipp Lahm, don't they?
You basically can't lose with Philipp Lahm because he's as good a winger as anybody around. But by the way, he's a fullback. So, I mean, just looking through the entirety of the squad, you know, be it the defence, be it the midfield, be it the attack, I'm really struggling. I mean, really struggling to find any weakness. In fact, I started looking at the bench, and I can't find any there either.
They've already got Götze signed up for next season. They may well have Lewandowski as well, but he will be a key man for Borussia Dortmund and a man who will try and pull that defence around a bit.
Yeah, Götze is, I mean, fantastic player. I mean, there is question marks about his fitness and whether he'll make it or not, and that's a real concern for them. He'll do everything that he possibly can to get there, but it is a little bit of a shame because you want every good player to be there playing in this competition, in this final. But Lewandowski, well, they need to stop him.
OK, if they do get Lewandowski, they might score even more goals next season. Incredibly, a goal difference of plus 80 Bayern Munich. But are this team ready to put recent disappointments, particularly in this competition, behind them?
In football, everyone's always looking forward. It's always about the next game. Naturally, occasionally people look back. The final from last year or even 3 years ago has nothing to do with this year, apart from the fact that maybe a couple of our players played in these games.
For me personally, the loss last year motivated me this season, especially in the Champions League, and for that reason it will also be the same in the final.
The big improvement in our game this season has been our defensive play, which you can see in the amount of goals we've conceded. I'm not saying we're perfect, but it's very good, and in modern football that's absolutely the priority.
We have to change this. We have to say enough. We lost twice. In Brazil we say that lightning doesn't strike 3 times in the same place. This cannot happen again. God will help us change the writing and help forget Inter and Chelsea.
And I think they have a big experience in the final now. If you stay or if you are 3 times in 4 years in the final, you have feeling for the special moments, I think, and yeah, I think psychologically it's a good thing.
At the moment, there's no team, no club which is better, because they got great players, a great team behind the team, a great coach. They got everything.
I feel we've trained incredibly well, and I feel I get a sense and atmosphere from the players, the way they hold themselves, the glances, the looks, and also when I've spoken to players that we're all naturally focused on the final against Borussia Dortmund, an all-German final that has never happened before, which is fantastic for German football.
Was fantastisch ist für den deutschen Fußball.
So we know Bayern are a great club, Pat, but a weird recent record in this. Losing 2 finals in the last 3 seasons. Yes, they've been there, but that must hurt.
Hurt, particularly the last one against Chelsea at their own stadium in Munich. That was a really painful one for them because they were the better side. They were on top for the vast majority of the game, but you know, I just can't see them losing. You know, 3. You've been there twice. They've got very close twice, but I can't see them doing it again because they've got so much belief in their squad. It's all about the quality as well. I mean, I think who's going to score the goals? If you were a betting man and you were thinking who's going to score the first goal, well, you're struggling a little bit because you get so many options. You're talking Robin, you're talking Ribery, Mandzukic if he comes on, Mario Gomez, that's without even starting Shaqiri. But maybe Thomas Mueller as much as anybody else. I mean, he's a fantastic player coming through the young German system. I think he is possibly the most dangerous player that they've got just now. Certainly with Dortmund, they'll be worried about him.
A few Munich fans telling us they must be the best team in the world because they've beaten Barcelona 7-0 over 2 legs. But the coach situation is interesting as well, with obviously Guardiola coming in. This will be Heynckes' end of the season. They've got the cup final still to come. But it's a funny old situation in the dugout for Bayern, isn't it?
It is, though, but football folk are professional. You know, they accept it. Quite often you'll find in your career that you are in a team, you're playing for a team, but you're going to have to move on quite soon. You know you're moving on. You've signed for another club, but you can still be professional and do absolutely the right things.
Thank you very much for your Twitter questions this week relating to Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund and other issues as well. One of them is about Mourinho. Gone from Real, must be due at Chelsea, not far from here.
I would guess 1st of July we will see Jose Mourinho either walking in to Stamford Bridge or else talking in a hotel somewhere very near that. Yeah, I think it's an absolute stick-on, a certainty. Benitez is still with the club over in America at the moment, but when his time is up, I'm sure Jose will walk through the doors. It's a stick-on.
Interim, yes, isn't he? Jose Mourinho, and he's always been that way. Other managerial rumours, loads of questions about all of these. Stoke, Everton, Manchester City. Would you like to take one or all? Or
well,
two?
the Everton one's a tricky one because they're still thinking a bit within the club at the moment, as far as I understand. And there are good people working within that club. So if you're talking someone like Weir, like Neville, like Stubbs, or maybe all 3 or 2 of the 3, there is that possibility. There is obviously Robbie Martinez that's maybe considered as well. So they've got a few good options. Bill Kenwright will take his time and make sure he gets the right decision. Think about it. Last time he made a decision was 11 years ago, and that went quite well.
And we're expecting Pellegrini certainly to be at Manchester City. But on the City stuff, they've announced a big deal this week, a partnership with baseball giants, New York Yankees, to form a Major League Soccer franchise, worth a lot of money. Quite a few Twitter questions, some of our viewers in America saying, you know, is this the future for some big clubs to come and get involved in American soccer as it is?
Well, they're going to try to do it. The thing is, this has been tried before. To be honest, it's never really worked before. We shall see. You know, there's a lot of money going to be pumped into it. There's no doubt about that. They're getting good people working over there for Manchester City. But I think, American football, or should I say soccer in the US, it should be able to stand on its own 2 feet. So whether City put a huge amount of time, effort, money into it, eventually the people that are going to make US soccer work are people from the US.
Okay, just a reminder, by the way, you can send us your questions continuing over the summer. We'll get round to the next season, and we've got a few special programmes regarding the Confederations Cup as well. At Mr Dan Walker and at Pat Nevin.
I think so, yep.
Very simple, there you go. Right, thank you for all those questions then. Now time to turn our attention to Borussia Dortmund, who really have been, well, I suppose, setting Europe alight with their brand of football, and their manager is a big character, a huge personality, and is always worth listening to. It is, of course, Jurgen Klopp.
Fairy tale. Bayern Munich was in the final for the last 2 or 3 years. They were in the semi-final, I feel like, for the last 10 years. So they are always on the last 4 in the championship. The only surprise in this case is that Borussia Dortmund is 2 in this final. So it's not a German football, because nothing changed. It's only, as I have to say, it's only Borussia Dortmund. They make the next step, and we need some special moments to be here. But it's not so far away from what we could think before. We thought it's in some if some things happened. So it could be possible. That's what we thought. And so it's nothing, it doesn't say anything about the German football. I think it's only Bayern Munich is where they should be in the final. They are one of the best teams, maybe the best team in the world in this moment. And we are in the final too, and we are the competitor, and we want to watch what will happen.
This year the gap is far too much for us. We are 22 points behind them. I think it won't happen the same next year. The first thing Jurgen Klopp made when he came to Dortmund was to work on the defense, because we got about 62 goals in the season before. So he knew where our problem was, and the first thing was to have a good defense and a strong defense, and because the quality of the players and the offense is so good that usually offense comes, could you say, from its own, out of its own. We improved every year, and this resulted in this Champions League final, that the defense is good and the offense is, with the players we have, one of the best in Europe. Maybe we have to change some players next season, but I hope we're getting a little bit better in the defense, and then we can make it a little closer to Bayern in the Bundesliga season next year.
What is your favourite karaoke tune?
Karaoke ist es, wenn man so singt mit der Musik im Hintergrund.
Ich habe an der PlayStation.
Once on my PlayStation, I sang Country Road, and I could sing very loud to that.
8,000 points, please. It's important.
8,000 points. I was just about to say that. Okay.
Vermutlich Fernsehen machen müssen.
What job would I have done? Well, probably it would have worked in TV, maybe afternoon TV, you know, some kind of program where people aren't all that interested in what you're saying and you just smile ahead there.
Wie ihr seht, habe ich da relativ großes Talent für. Ja. Und ja, das
I'm not all that talented with DIY, so actually the job that I've got and the work that I do is just wonderful for me and just fits very good.
Tatsächlich das Einzige, was ich wirklich gut kann, darf ich heute als Beruf ausüben. We want to fight for our life. We want to make our parents proud. We want to do everything what we can do to be a winner in this final. If we win, we are not the best team in the world, but we beat the best team in the world, and that's what could happen.
It is always great to hear from Herr Klopp. He's funny, he's insightful, he clearly loves his football, he loves being at Borussia Dortmund as well. But take all that away, he has a great team there, doesn't he?
He has a great team, he's built a great team, and you know, to be in a league with Bayern Munich and not exactly stay with them, but get as close as anyone else, he's done very well. But he's a team that people love. His supporters absolutely love him and the group, and it's because they're exciting. Now, any team that can go and hammer Real Madrid 4-1 the way they did, I think it took the breath away of European football when we watched that night. You know, every time Lewandowski got the ball, you thought, he's going to score him. He looks absolutely fantastic. But the most important thing for me is he's built it around the Polish players that he's got there. He's got Piszczek, Błaszczykowski, and he's got Lewandowski up front. You need to stop them, and that's what Bayern will be trying to do. They're trying to stop them. They often come down the right-hand side. That's where they're the very, very best. If they can stop that, and I noticed that happened with the Polish team back in the Euros, stop their right-hand side, and they've got a massive problem. The same could be the problem for Dortmund.
Do you think they might be slightly wary of Bayern Munich because they've not beaten them in any games this season? You mentioned the Bundesliga, 25 points behind them in the league, 41 goals worse off. I mean, based on those stats, you look at this game and you can see clearly why the team on the right of the big banner there, Bayern Munich, are the overwhelming favourites.
Well, you ask if they'll be slightly worried. I think they'll be worried sick. I think they'll be very, very concerned indeed. Simply because they've got so many areas that they have to, so many gaps that they have to plug at the back. There'll be attack from all angles, right, left, from the depth of midfield and from upper midfield as well. But they've got a very good defence. I'm very impressed with them. One of my favourite defenders, I mean, we talked before about Dante, who is phenomenal. But I've always liked Neven Subotic as well. I think he's a very, very special player. I thought a lot of English coaches should have been looked at him 2 or 3 years ago. In fact, I mentioned them to a couple of clubs. But they never made it. But looking at him now, he's one of the best, but he's going to have to be at his very best, along with everyone alongside him in that defence. If they are at their very best, they might keep Bayern down to score maybe a couple of goals. And if they do that, then it's all up to make sure that Lewandowski can get up there and score some himself.
And we know they won't lack support. I mean, the figures on this are incredible as well. They think they could have had 250,000 tickets sold for this game. They took 40,000 to Madrid and only had 10,000 tickets available. I mean, the relationship between the players and the fans is something that makes all other clubs jealous, isn't it?
All other clubs and all other leagues in the world, I suggest, are jealous just now, the way it's working with German football. They're playing very good football, it's entertaining, it's attacking, the crowd love it, it's fairly cheap. I'm still looking for a weakness at the moment. Maybe if we get a 4-4 draw, I'll question the defences, but I doubt. I think we're just going to enjoy the whole thing.
Pat, thank you very much for today. Next time we come to Wembley, we shall definitely bring our umbrellas. That's it for Football Focus for a couple of weeks. We shall be back, though, for some Confederation Cup specials from Brazil. But from both of us, from Wembley, enjoy the Champions League final and goodbye.